Hello, everybody. It's Monica Heltz with your Fishers Health Department Community Risk Rating Scale and Metric Review for Tuesday, December 29th, 2020. This is our last review for this year. Hopefully, we'll have much better reviews next year, and we'll definitely see you on the other side of that. For our community risk rating scale, we remain in our red category or very high risk of community transmission rating. Our percent positivity right now for the county unique individuals is 17.5%. Our Fishers Health Department percent positivity is 13.85%, and our case incidence rate is 92.50. All three of these remain very firmly in our red or severe risk category, so we will remain in red. These metrics are better than they were last week, so that is some good news. However, I do not expect them to remain better. I do expect that we will, although we appear to have leveled off for right now, I do anticipate that that is more a result of kind of erratic activities around the holiday season more than it is around a true decrease. So we are very anxiously anticipating further increases into January, unless all of you all have used extreme caution and safety in your activities during this season, and I hope that's the case. Our public health capacity is doing pretty well. Our testing availability is really good. You can get tested the same day or the next day, definitely in the under 3-day category. So that is in green. Our testing turnaround, right now the average for this week is 2.6 days for testing turnaround between the two sites. I'm going to keep that in our yellow category, but I can tell you that we've had people get results back sometimes the same day, but on average, 2 to 3 days. Our tracing remains the same. We're able to notify you if you got tested at our site. We're attempting at least to call you and speaking to most of you the same day within the 24-hour time period. So we're going to keep that in green. The state seems to be doing better, but they with their tactics that they're using, but again, they're still a little bit more delayed than we are. They have stopped sending letters, so those of you who may have gotten a letter a week later, you will not get that from the state anymore. Our healthcare system capacity remains stretched. I'm going to keep that in orange. Our ICU beds are at 20.7% availability. The trends are better this week than they were last week, but we remain at a high capacity. Again, I would attribute that more to the decrease in activities around the holidays, particularly for hospital procedures and that kind of thing. We are very anxious about the upcoming next several weeks and very concerned. So in some good news, we've been monitoring the flu activity and the influenza-like illness. We have seen maybe a very slight increase in Hamilton County over the last 2 months or so, but very, very slight. For the most part, influenza is pretty non-existent from the metrics, particularly when compared to COVID. So that's a benefit of wearing masks and hand washing and distancing. Some learning tips that we can take forward in the future to protect ourselves further from flu. I would still recommend, if you haven't gotten the flu shot yet, to go ahead and do that. That's something proactive that you can do while you're waiting for your COVID vaccine turn. Other notes is in the last 7 days, we did report 5 new deaths from COVID. So that is not good news. We are starting, those are mostly the fallout unfortunately, from that Thanksgiving time period of visiting. We do expect to see deaths from Christmas happening about a month from now, unless again, we were all extremely careful and cautious. So although our numbers have decreased this week, in general, we had more positive cases total in December than we had in November. I would expect that to bump up again in January. We are not on the steep increase that we were at previously, but we are still on an increased rate, meaning that the virus is still spreading at a point where we can't quite get ahead of it. One of the other things we look at is mobility data. We have found that Hamilton County residents are the second most mobile in the state after Allen County up near Fort Wayne. I'm not sure what they're doing up there, but we're doing it too. We are seeing a definite spike and increase in movement between residences of people, which tells us that there are still people out there having gatherings and that kind of thing, possibly with their neighbors or family members that live in the area. This is also reflected in some slight increase in particular neighborhood activity that we can monitor. So I would caution you, if your neighbors are having gatherings, please do not participate, and please use caution and safety. We don't recommend that at this time. Most of the cases right now are people in their 40s. So particularly if you are in your 40s, then I don't know what's happening out there, but please use extra caution and safety, and maybe cancel some of those trips out to restaurants and to visiting friends, so that you can decrease your risk. We have seen COVID go through quite a few of our long-term care facilities and nursing homes again, and it has been disastrous for them, both in staffing and in resident outcomes. We are providing some assistance to those facilities as needed. But if you have a loved one in one of those facilities, or if you are employed by one of those facilities, I would absolutely urge you to use extreme caution. Despite their best safety measures that they have in place and infection control measures, it is nearly impossible to get out of a facility like that once COVID gets in, and it really can have devastating effects, both on the staff and the residents, and morale and mental health, and a number of things. So I would urge everyone to use a special caution in those zones. Um, Vaccine guidance is expected next week from the state. You can watch their website for the most up-to-date information. That will include the next steps on who is next to get vaccinated. So I know many people are anxious. I am anxious as well. It makes it difficult for us to plan when we don't know who we're planning for next. But we have developed a vaccine website, so you can go to the Fisher's Health Department website, and there's a COVID vaccine category as well, and we'll keep that up to date for you as well. So as we know things, we will put them up there. We are expecting to receive vaccine and be able to start giving it hopefully the second week of January. But everything right now is changing every minute. Again, check our website for the latest guidance. In the meantime, be safe, be healthy, and I'll see you next year. Take care, everybody.